Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I'll also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates and as such, usually I go about on the Twitter X platform. And later today, I think we'll be able to get another episode for Midnight Suns. Having a blast playing this game. Um, I might be slowing down if I don't manage to get around and do some recordings to have on the backlog so I can publish. I will probably ramp down a little bit because of this 2 weeks of hectic stuff that I'm dealing with at this moment from my visa stuff and everything and company wise. But yeah, other than that, I also have the complete gameplay series in 4K, the most recent ones from a year or so, and the older ones before the big break that I had to add in 1080p. So might want to check them out. So let's go to the news. Similarly, MSI leaked some kind of performance or initial inside performance numbers from the X3D RDNA no Zen 5 X3D performance there. Supposedly, according to their own internal conditions, we only have like very rough um, setup, which we know it's in 1080p with the 4090, so it's not a bottleneck there, and it seems to deliver between 2 to 13% higher gains in terms of gaming performance. Again, doesn't again we only have like three games: Far Cry 6, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Black Myth Wukong. Again, Black Myth Wukong tends to be more graphic heavy than the CPU. I don't think the CPU is going to make a huge difference. Then we got, even though it's 1080p, again, depends on a lot of stuff here. We need to have a complete setup so you have a better idea what kind of numbers they are achieving between each other. Far Cry 6, it is what it is. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider is already kind of, I think he goes around this 200 ish kind of frame rates in all CPUs almost. So, yeah, we need to have more. As I said, always wait for the reviews from several sites so we have a better understanding of the gains. But it's good to see that at least there is some gains to be had with this new generation of the X3D CPU stuff there. Even though in terms of they do a lot of comparisons here between the X3D and the non-X3D performance. Again, it depends a lot of the settings. This is productivity stuff here. Cinebench 20 R23. Again, I don't see huge differences here, mainly because again the X3D cache usually tends uh, to be more temperature sensitive. So usually the clocks and all that stuff usually has to be downgraded to the non-X3D variants of those CPUs. So usually we get a little bit of that um, balance that they try to achieve there. So yeah, other than that, again, this is MSI Lab. They really push the notion that is from PC samples. So it's like we can be like engineering samples, and then after reaching these tests, supposedly the production, so the ones that are going to the customers, will have slightly improved performance from these graphs. So again, take it with a grain of salt. I think that they this is was during a tour. I think this wasn't supposed to be shown at, but yeah, it seems to at least there is no downgrade in terms of performance, which is something good. And I think, from what I understand, it also again the Intel ones, the 200 series. I don't know how they are. The Ultra 9 285K. It's not going to achieve any close of this kind of numbers. But yeah, we'll have to see. Like specs, supposedly the 9800 X3D will have 5.2 boost clock and around 4.7, I think, base clock, something on those lines. But we have to wait and see with the when the review comes out. And I think they're trying to launch these CPUs again by the end of next month, so end of November, around Christmas time. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But so far, the information seems to be tending on at least people will get some improvements here. Um, yeah, I don't know what to tell, but take it with a grain of salt. Again, this is very preliminary. It's only free samples of free games. Um, uh, and yeah, we don't know the exact settings, like for example, memory stuff setting there. That the rest of the setup, what kind of motherboard they are using, what kind of temperatures they are achieving, or something like that. They're usually Gamer Nexus and even Hardware Unbox usually are the two main ones that I usually for more comprehensive reviews of products. I usually trust more on their information regarding these things, CPUs and GPUs. So I don't take it at face value, this information, but it might give us some indication regarding the gains that we might have there. But yeah, basically this is what I got from hardware at this moment. In terms of games, supposedly Hogwarts Legacy Definitive Edition supposedly is coming next year after all, and supposedly with even more content. So for PC, I don't think it's. Again, I don't know if there's going to be for because we heard that PC. I'm not sure if they call Definitive Edition on Director's Cut, which is to put on Steam versions, or in this case PC versions, the exclusive content that came from PlayStation. If not mistaken, I'm not sure. We know there was an edition coming, but I will assume this is kind of a new thing, Definitive Edition, because it's coming next year and adds a lot of more content than the single quest that he had for PS5, if not mistaken, which is good to see. Again, the fact that it has more hours of content doesn't mean that it's going to. We just hope that it's going to be at least at the same level of quality of content that they have for the base game, because the game seems to be pretty good. But yeah, this is the new report, and it's been revealed some members of Rocksteady were working on the director's cut for the game. Yeah, again, the director's cut was kind of the thing porting the PS exclusive content to PC. But yeah, supposedly it's going to be called Hogwarts Legacy Definitive Edition with some added extra content. I don't know. Supposedly, these 10 to 15 hours of new content is story quest, more side quests and activities, of course, new outfits. Again, should be launched next year, and it's going to cost around between 20 to $30 to upgrade to this version. Again, a little bit expensive, um, but yeah, depending on what it can add to the base game. And with that, I always reserve my opinion to wait for reviews for this one. Again, I think usually this should stay on the side of around $10 maybe, because it's not a full blown DLC. For example, like for The Witcher 3, which is or a Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk, in that big of a chunk of content to justify it between a $20 to $30 price, which you can buy a lot of games for this price, especially in a deal. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see if all these new reports are really what they say they are. But until then, we need to wait until the next year to be more sure about it. In the meantime, again, the last that we heard regarding units sold, it was January from this year, the last time that we had an official confirmation, and they sold around 24 million units. I think at least they are at this moment in time between 25 to 26 million units sold from January until now. I think it's a fair estimate there. Yeah, usually when this game is on sale, I usually tend to recommend because it's one of those games that I'm very interested to play out. Never read the books, watched the movies. I found it interesting, the setting there and the themes trying to be approached there. Really enjoyed the movies and the universe that it set up. It's very comprehensive, very intricate. But yeah, uh, one of these days I will for sure will try to play this game out. If not making a gaming series, maybe play by my own in my own free time when I have some. We got also some Metaphor ReFantazio, already sold 1 million copies on launch day, which is pretty amazing to achieve something like that. Even on Steam, it's making record numbers, at least compared to the Persona franchise when it comes to concurrent players. And again, I only saw a very few, even though there is around Metacritic aroundish 90% positive reviews, or a score of 90 out of 100. It seems a pretty good one, but the overall theme seems to be it is Persona 6, but in a fantasy setting. Uh, I think it has to do with the fact that they wanted to try to introduce some stuff in the next Persona game, and they took advantage of being the same developers from Persona 5 and those series. They introduced those little tweaks that they want to introduce in terms of gameplay, mechanic systems there, and they introduce it in this game here. It seems pretty interesting. The game itself, fantasy, it's always something that I will always like to try out. Um, Again, we'll have to wait and see. We got some issues regarding some localization stuff for English. I think there is a lot of injection of lot or some injection of DEI, the claims of diversity, and again, it doesn't suits very well. But I think the original version, I need to try and dig a little bit deeper there. Um, I think that the way it was done in the original version, so Japanese, I don't think it has any kind of discrepancy. I think it's the localization for at least English that they again, the translation is not a translation, is an interpretation and a corruption of the original intent of Japanese. At least that's my perception of the situation. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, it seems that the story is pretty good. The gameplay systems are pretty good, very in line with Persona. Other than that, I think it's the localization situation there. It's a little bit off the rails in certain areas. Then we got also a little bit of Disco Elysium news per se. It's been 5 years since the launch of this game. I think it got awarded Game of the Year and a lot of award shows and the such. And there was a lot of shenanigans happening there because of the developer Zia. Again, a lot of issues in fighting, a lot of drama there, and led basically to the layoffs and cancellation of a sequel. Yeah, it was a messed up stuff there that happened. I think some IP rights. There were disputes regarding that, and basically throw off everybody to or exit the studio or being fired. And of course then even the guys that supposedly were the creators of this ip that just split up. And we have basically now two spiritual successors from two different studios, which each studio has previous developers that work on Disco Elysium. Again, even though this led to layoffs, in the end, in the long term, I think players might be getting the good end of the stick per se, because now we have two spiritual successors of the Disco Elysium. One of them is an indie studio called Longdew, again with some of the original creators of Disco Elysium, who have announced their intention to create an RPG that follows in the footsteps of Disco Elysium and raises the bar in the narrative CRPG genre. And then the other studio is Dark Math Games, or Dark Math Games is a team of about 20 employees from the original Disco Elysium working on their own. This one is detective RPG called Triple X Night Shift. It will be a single player RPG with many tools and layers of gameplay and a unique dynamic company that will add more fun and pathways to solve cases. Again, it's a lot in line of the ideas that they were introduced in Disco Elysium. It's good to see. Again, I think we will have to wait probably a couple of more years to have more concrete news regarding these games if they go forward with this. If and of course if there isn't any kind of situation that might lead to the cancellation or the closure of the studios. But I think they are in good hands. Again, I think that from what I saw from Disco Elysium, it's got a lot of interesting ways of going about of dealing with the choice and consequences and the ways that you go about and try to solve the challenges that are presented to you in the detective regarding this guy, the main character. I don't remember the name there, and a lot of themes that are explored also in the game seem pretty good. But yeah, uh, we got two games instead of one. So I think in the end, I think we are not badly served, let's say. And then we got again. I've seen a lot of stuff. Again, I commented. Um, I started noticing some stuff there with the CD Project Red a few, probably a few years ago, especially after the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. But yeah, I've been noticing a trend on again CD Project Red of, and I'm also very worried with the announced projects from the Witcher remake, the original game there, with the new trilogy of the Witcher games and the sequel for the Cyberpunk. Because people tend to forget Cyberpunk's launch was a shit show. It was even removed from the storefront on the PS store there uh, for 6 months until they fixed and be reaching the state of MVP, minimal viable product, because it was not even in that stance with the PlayStation version there. But yeah, again, Endymion seemed to be throwing out a lot of stuff there, and we be able to get a lot of inside information. And again, collecting a lot of information in one video is always useful. And supposedly, again, the CD Projekt Red CEO Michael Nowakowski claimed that his company hires based on merit, despite having a scholarship program that excludes men. Again, they are on the Ubisoft bandwagon in this sense. We saw, I think, last year or the beginning of this year, the um, the social media, they were very proud of announcing, um, how do they call it, menstrual leave, paid menstrual leave, something like that. Then we got also some programs similar to Ubisoft, which excludes white men for some reason, even though um, again, it's the same old shit. But yeah, um, and one of the things that we got from inside, let's say, the reports is CD Projekt Red is absolute chaos right now, based on who actually is still working there that used to work on the previous games. Because people tend to forget a lot of people like creative directors, game directors, like the main creative force and the commanders of the ship, let's say, a lot of them just went away out of CD Projekt Red, especially after Witcher 3 was finished, and the new blood that was put in circulation on the company is not the best one, because apparently Cine Talent has already left CD Projekt Red years ago, at least from Witcher 3 was launched 2014, 15, I think, not sure. So it's been almost 10 years. And you can see, especially after Cyberpunk 2077, the turn of how that game was launched to a certain degree. But again, a lot of it was part of the higher ups of the C suite that they thought they just wanted to launch the MVP status of the game there, and they backfired like hell. Again, director of The Witcher 3 has long left the studio, and they already created their own studio with their own new game as well. A place, apparently places like Warhorse Studio, the guys from Kingdom Deliverance, they already been poaching talent from CD Projekt Red like crazy past few years. Again, it was told to Endymion also that problems are plaguing Ubisoft, like diversity hires also starting to damage and ruin CD Projekt as well. Again, this is an insidious kind of disease, virus kind of a thing there. According to the other source, CD Projekt has begun to rely heavily on outsourcing to contract, which is never good to help with their games because the new talent that they have is nowhere near where they need them to be right now. So they are not good. Uh, they don't deserve to be in this supposedly what it's be expected in the studio like this kind of pedigree. But yeah, And supposedly it was confirmed because, again, I understand. I did understand, even though I didn't agree, the fact that they dropped their own engine. Oh my God, Red Engine. But yeah, one of the reasons the next games, or because they dropped the Red Engine and they will start using Unreal Engine, is that the previous games did, it's largely because most of the senior talented, so engineers, like chief engineers, guys that created the engine from the ground up, that worked and understood the Red Engine, are not there anymore. And Unreal is more kind of one size fits all engine that many devs are familiar with these days. So the new people only understand this kind of Unreal Engine uh, kind of coding stuff there. And again, the main backbone of the engineers that created and maintained and improved Red Engine, which at this moment in time, even with The Witcher 3, again, with a couple of mods there, at least a couple of mods to enhance textures and the stuff, it's very good looking and it still performs in a very acceptable way. And it's very mod friendly. Red Engine was always a very friendly to the mod community there. And Unreal Engine, it can be, but yeah, it was the Red Engine was built with mods. At least the second version was built with a little bit mod acceptance, and the pinnacle of that was really The Witcher 3. But yeah, and again, CD Projekt Red's right now in the very top spot, and they're apparently hoping that their pedigree is going to carry these games to million sales, which is not. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. Seems we live in times that anyone can record. Again, this is from the CEO, Nowakowski. Seems we live in times where anyone can record complete nonsense and make a story out of it. CDPR talent living. We are the lowest rotation on people in recent years. Here's the key point. Recent years, again, when he goes about the recent years, is 2 years ago. It's what he calls recent years. And then he continued, DI driven recruitment. We hire based on merit and talent alone, just as we make games driven by artistic vision alone. And again, it's all lies, usually. It's trying to deflect out of this. Even the why did we choose Unreal Engine? Because it enables us to work in our games more efficiently and regain and remain cutting edge tech wise. Again, this code can serve for a small studio that doesn't have enough engineers and enough resources to create a proprietary engine from the ground up. In a company as CD Projekt Red, it's more than good enough. Cyberpunk 2077 is one of those examples. It is the poster child for path tracing demos and all that jazz, and the game it's been out already for 3 years now. It's been improved and tweaked on that sense, so I don't know where they're. Again, this kind of quotes is it's at minimum misleading. And he makes the mention here of the Witcher 3 director left here more than 2 years ago. Now, can we stop looking for conspiracy theories and go back making school stuff? Again, I remember watching this video from Legacy Killer regarding the people that left, like the higher ups there, and at least 11 directors and department leads left CD Projekt Red back in 2021 from the release of Cyberpunk 2077. And again, just a few examples here: studio head and executive producer John Mamey, The Witcher 3 game director Conrad Thomas Hughes Wicks, I'm butchering the name, the Witcher 3 quest director, the cinematic director, head of production, principal engine programmer, engine director, creative directors, senior producers, art directors. Again, all the main people that usually they drive the team into a single purpose and a single vision. They all went away from some time now, and that's why they are kind of in panic mode inside the company. Then we got this again, the diversity, the DEI stuff there. again, just to remind everybody that purpose is to create revolutionary role-playing games with memorable stories that inspire gamers. We can only deliver on these goals and promise with an amazing, passionate team whose talents and professional skills reflect the breadth of experience in the world. Again, I'm not going to comment that. A diverse and inclusive work environment boosts creativity and innovation, which is exactly what you need in order to push the limits of technology and storytelling. Again, the fact that uh, I think they are not proud of the games that launch because only a diverse and inclusive work environment, which leads us telling that before it wasn't, and because only with a diverse and inclusive work environment boosts creativity and innovation, then you can make better games. So basically, they are shitting on their own previous games in a sense by making these kind of statements. So let it be known. Um, and again, there is a page here on their website which is equitable practices. Again, got a quote here from the Cultural Diversity and Inclusion Director, which is another DEI kind of variation, which is CDI. But it goes all the goes the final stuff is always the same there, the same end. We're not afraid to stand for what we believe in. Good for you. By implementing inclusive benefits and creative space where everyone can be themselves, we create a positive example for the companies and help. Again, I think a workplace is not the place for you to be yourself uh, and not taking into account the work that you are supposed to do. Again, a workplace is where you rent your time to deliver a product or whatever it is, in this case to a company or to a boss, whatever it is, you're renting your time and your skills for a several amount of money to deliver some productivity to the company, and that's it. I don't know why you have to be you can be yourself in your own house, outside of the workplace, even when is included anything creative wise. Because again, so far it seems that even the white guys always made excellent games, even when it pertains to characters that are not white guys. So far, we did manage, as long there is human empathy and as a lot of people say, with their own um, breadth of experience in the world. Again, I think a matter of merit. You don't even think about it if it is a white guy, white woman, black man, whatever you want to call it. Again, um, again, this is goes battering the same nail with the same hammer all the time. But yeah, one of the diversity chatters, again, they had to sign this diversity chatter, which is part of legal law in Poland. That's why they, to a certain degree, they back themselves in a corner regarding this, because they, as they say, they are among the companies that signed the diversity charter, a document committing to non-discrimination in the workplace, as well to the introduction of policies that create and promote diversity. We are also listed as one of the top employers in Poland in terms of managing diversity and inclusion. Again, this is part of their own law inside Poland, and they basically, even if they don't want to now, they are back themselves in the corner regarding this diversity chatter, which is not something which is, if it is non-discriminatory, I think it suits well. If it is just non-discriminatory, but again, it always ends up with managing diversity and inclusion. But yeah, it's just a kind of a reminder that CD Projekt is not in the good hands at this moment in time, starting from the top to the bottom. Um, yeah, I don't expect, as I've been telling you for the past months, from that I don't. I'm very afraid of the Witcher remake, because it is a remake. You will see a lot of catering to the modern audiences of, I don't know, 500 people that exist there, that are have money to buy games. Um, and I'm not very faithful also in this next trilogy of The Witcher, and also the sequel for Cyberpunk. There, I'm not very hopeful, and I think nobody should to be hopeful to be at the same level, at least with The Witcher 3. But yeah, basically this is it. I'm just going to let off with some gaming deals. We still have these deals from Steam, not much happening there, but we got the Long Dark 40% off. Got Lords of the Fallen. This is the deluxe edition, is 50% off. We got also Planet of Lana 50% off, and then we got the Tomb Raider trilogy, the better trilogy, which is the Tomb Raider 85% off, Rise of the Tomb Raider 85% off. This is the best edition, the 20-year celebration, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which the best one is definitive edition also. Um, we got also that there is also here the Tomb Raider Definitive Trilogy, Survivor Trilogy, which is always a good bundle. Uh, uh, Again, because it doesn't have a price here, you got. I will leave probably this one. Sorry, the trilogy. Survivor, which has all the extra goodies there. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff going out here. But yeah, and on GOG, we got the Darkest Dungeon, 85% on the base game. We got the Lamplighters League, 50%. Then we got also the Talos Principle. This is the gold edition, is 85% off. And then finally, we got War Tales, 40% off. This seems a pretty good game in the lines of Jagged Alliance, kind of those games there. But yeah, for today, I'll wrap up here. Tomorrow is my day off from YouTube stuff. I will see you in Monday, and in the meantime, I will wrap up with a plug on my Patreon for access support. This access support is more in line for me to get a better storage solution, so I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.